Kia ora, hello. It's been a while since my last update. We're now into February 2017. I'll be working on a Mini in the meanwhile, and I'll get that out soon. Just a little update really. I've got a bit more stock. As you can see, I've now got a nice rake of PGAs. Fortunately, they've got a variety of loads in. The AAMI ones have some with grit in, and the Yamaha ones have these huge stones. The Yamaha ones I can fix quite easily, just by covering it with the finer grit that I have. The AAMI Roadstone ones will be slightly trickier. And what I'm thinking of doing is covering the plastic loads in PVA and then just dipping them in some ballast, and then trying to work out how to cover these so that it's the same grade. That should work, but we'll find out. It might look a bit daft seeing as they're miles over. Alternatively, I just take the plastic loads out, take the little pegs out from in between, and just fill them up like I did with the HAA loads. In other news, I've been working on the tunnel a little bit. I've now got an interior to it. It's got brick paper on the inside, so it looks nice and dark throughout, so that'll be good when I finally get the running videos going through there. And yeah, that's about it. Recently I went to my parents' place and picked up a bunch of my stuff from their garage to clear it out. Not particularly interesting, but that's why there's not a lot been happening. I've thrown away about a third of it. I did, however, find all my Railway Modeller magazines. I've got about another 7 or so of these. The main reason for this update is a new thing I'm launching. It's randomizemytrain.com. One thing I have difficulty with, and one thing I saw other people do is doing the prototypical goods loads and prototypical operation. And they did it with waybills, and each wagon had a card, and you had slots to put all the different things in, and that looked really interesting. And the guy I saw doing it used dice to work out what the loads would be, and I thought, hey, that'd be really interesting to do if there was like a computer program to do it. Now, I haven't seen anything that's dead simple to set up and run, and as I have a different era and I don't particularly feel like filling out a card for each wagon, I decided to come up with something a little bit more basic. And the main functionality behind this website is to enable people to basically randomize Speedlink collections. Because one thing I noticed in a lot of videos going back to seeing the Speedlink trains was there isn't really a clear set of trains they did. It was always quite random, sporadic, and there were block trains, mixed rakes and stuff of various wagons. So what I've decided to do is build this to enable me to input my collection, in terms of I have, say, 4 of the red VGAs, so I'll add that. I have 7 of the yellow-ended ones, so I'll add those. And basically, you go through your collection, adding all the trains that you have. I have quite a list. Some of them don't have pictures yet. It's because I don't own them. The pictures are what I have taken myself from my own collection. If you have images that you could send in or whatever, I'd be welcome. I'd be happy to receive them. There are further details in the help section about that. But basically, the idea is that you end up adding all the wagons in your collection, and then you can randomize the trains that you want to use in the Speedlink sets. Because, again, it kind of just takes out some of the fun for me when I have to imagine my trains and I have to work out what sets I'm going to create and stuff. So by doing this, it takes out my input and makes it a bit more fun for me, as I have to build the trains. It doesn't have like station points or sidings or anything as part of it. It's literally just to generate trains in a random or relatively random way. And what you can see here is on the left, it's listed all the trains that I've added to my mini collection, and then in the middle it is showing me the trains that it has generated. So the first row has the Traffic Services Polybulk, one of the red VGAs, and the Cargo Wagon. The second train is just a freight distribution, rail freight distribution VGA. The next one is OAA Wagon and another rail freight distribution, and so on. So this second to last one you can see is rail freight distribution with Speedlink, with rail freight, and so on. Now, this is all well and good. I was pretty happy with this. I decided that some of the stuff I might want is to say, well, actually, I don't want any trains shorter than 3. So you can say the minimum length of train I want is 3, and I'll randomise that again. And then the system will create at least trains with at least 3. Now this is actually special. It's done all of them. So if I randomise them again, there we go. So now we see I've got 3 trains, and the smallest length one is 3. Once you put in your whole collection, the randomised trains will possibly be a bit more to your liking. The other thing you can do is set the maximum number of trains you want to generate. So if I only want to create 1 train, put that in there, do that, and it'll create me again another train. It won't necessarily always do the full amount of trains. If I randomise again, you'll see that it's just created the 1 train of 3, or if I do it again, it's given me 10. Another way to use this is, because this doesn't handle block trains especially, like if you put some of your trains that you wanted to use in a block train in the collection, it would just stick them in randomly. So if you want to do block trains, then you'll have to just not include them in the collection. Again, look at the help for this, because it does explain what I mean by that. But one thing I've also worked out is that I have a collection of cement wagons. Some of them are plain grey and straight, some of them are tapered, and some of them are blue circle. So again, what you can do is if I set those values to nothing and set the train to 1, what I can do is randomise the cement block train that I get. And as you can see, it's loading them up, and I've got a nice little rake there of 8 cement wagons that become my rake of cement train. It becomes my cement train. And again, it takes out some of the manual steps for you that you don't have to use all your imagination on just coming up with trains, and you can just enjoy it a little bit more. Perhaps personally, I find that quite good. And the final way of using this system that I've come up with is by using the Inglenook idea. So what you start with rather, is you have your 8 wagons here that you want to use for your Inglenook puzzle, and with the settings of 3 and 5 as your train lengths, what you can do is you randomise it, and hopefully you get a 5 and a 3 like I just have. What that means then is this is your starting point. So you have your 5 wagons in the one siding and the 3 in the other, and that's your starting point for the Inglenook puzzle. So you put them out in your sidings and your layout. You then repeat the same collection, slightly with the other name, and then what you do is, depending on what kind of puzzle you wanted. Now, if you want to make it hard, then you come up with do maybe 8 and 8, because you want 1 train that is the puzzle length long. So you say minimum 8, maximum 8, and you have 1 train. So with that, you then have your end goal. So this is what you try and make using the Inglenook rules. If you wanted to make it easier, you could go down to say 5 and 5, and then you'd have to come up with the train of 5 as your puzzle solution. And it's up to you how you do that, but you can use this to help you do the Inglenook puzzle, which is perhaps a little bit nicer than just randomising your list. Certainly, this is what I've been using recently to do some Inglenook shunting. It's also just a little bit prettier, perhaps. Finally, as you notice, this is my account, if you will, and what it does is it uses your Google identity. So if you've got Gmail, or if you've got Google Plus, or any other of the Google products, you can sign in, and it saves your collections in this system against your name, so that you save them, you can log out or go away, and then when you come back, they'll still be there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm up to. Again, there's a bunch of kind of help page about some of the other stuff. And if you want to help out, I'd be welcome. I'd welcome your input. Yeah, so if you want to go to that, it's www.randomizemytrain.com. I'll put a link in the description. And yeah, it'd be really interesting to hear your feedback. Now, you don't have to create an account. For those of you asking, you can just use this outright, just by adding the trains to the collection. And as long as you keep the session alive, you're good. But the moment you restart your PC, I think it'll just lose the it'll just lose your collection. So you'll have to recreate it every time you come to the website. Hence, I added the ability to log in. So, I think that's plenty enough to be getting on with. The video's long enough. I'd be interested to see if any of you start using the system that I've created. It's kind of, I'm happy enough just to use it for myself, but I thought it was a good enough tool to share around. As far as the images go, I did ask Hattons for permission to use theirs, and they were unable to assist in that this product, if it was my own personal stuff, they would have been happy for me to use them. And they say that to anyone who's got a personal project they want to use their images for. They say, yep, we can, once you've asked for permission, we're happy to give you that. We just want to have the permission. But if you're going to use it and share those images around and stuff, then they're not willing to do that without recompense. They want, obviously, licensing fees for that, which is fair enough. They've spent a lot of time and effort and money on getting their images together. So I've had to make these myself. Hence, some of them don't actually have real images, so you can see there my VBA in Railfreight Red is just a red outline. So yeah, I've got a couple more wagons on the way, including the Silver Bullet, for example, to put into this image. But for now, this is all I've got. So, have a good month, happy modelling, and I'll see you on the other side.